I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh and Angel Ortega. As always, welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, my friend and yours, the man in the blue, Angel Ortega. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. I guess I'm actually technically, would you say this is kind of like a dark blue color?
It looks just like a charcoal gray.
Kind of charcoal gray. You know what?
We're going to get specific here with colors.
You know what? This is not the color hour. We're a podcast.
It's not the color hour.
It's not the color hour. This is just anyways.
I feel like we get in trouble for that.
I know. The second I said it, I'm like, that came out a little bit wrong. I didn't mean how it came across. I'm woke, guys. I'm progressive. I
use pronouns.
I love the old Pope classic. You know, like I don't know, man. But you know what?
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
It's a Joaquin Buckley clip.
You know what? Everything's fine. Everything is great. Everything's grand because it is UFC Kansas City this Saturday night from the T-Mobile Center, and we'll break down the action there. We'll break down huge boxing event this weekend. Chris Eubank and Conor Benn going down from Tottenham Stadium. We got a couple of news and a few other things to talk about as well. Before we break into the action, we sponsor the show. Rogue Energy, ELYXR, and BetMGM. Rogue Energy keeps me fueled up, whether I'm at home, whether I'm at the gym, or whether I'm working 12-hour shifts. It keeps me fueled up and gets me to the finish line. It can help you get there as well, because that's just how good Rogue Energy is. With code SOUNDOFF at checkout for 10% off at checkout. All caps, once again, when you spell the brand's name. Meanwhile, ELYXR will get you really high with their Delta 9 products. Once again, code SOUNDOFF, all caps, for 10% off at checkout. Lastly, our friends over at BetMGM. Guys, we got a couple of events upcoming. Like I said, UFC Kansas City, and we got a huge boxing event going down this weekend. If you want to follow the link down below, you can get up to $1,500 in bonus bets paid back. That's if you don't hit on your first bet from BetMGM. Contact 1-800-GAMBLER if you're having any issues. Other than that, when you have some fun, you want to listen to our predictions and then throw some money down on them, go for it, man. Just follow that link down below. It helps us, helps the show, and you can have some fun yourself. No recap this week. Obviously, UFC took a week off. There was, a small boxing show. Gabriel Fandora picked up when we have a PFL show. We'll talk about it at the end of the show because it won't be really long. But like I just said, the real star, the crown jewel.
Went to Ben Whitaker, right?
Oh yeah, Ben Whitaker. He fought on Easter, picked up a controversial second round TKO win.
Oh, it was controversial.
It was controversial. Yeah, I mean, so if you guys didn't see the first fight, well, this will be a quick recap. Ben Whitaker, for the unaware, is this former, if I want to say silver medalist in the Olympics. Point being, incredible amateur background, undefeated guy, on the rise, has an a la Roy Jones kind of style. The difference is he's not as good as Roy Jones, even a fraction of as good. So he's coming off a fight with this guy, Liam Cameron, kind of a journeyman type. I think he was like 22-9 or something. Liam Cameron kind of beating him up through 5 rounds. They get in a clinch near the ropes like last year. Ben Whitaker flies over the ropes, says he can't continue. Second fight comes. Ben Whitaker hurts him in the second round. Doesn't drop him, but he hurts him. Lands 2 or 3 more big right hands. Referee waves it off. Guy doesn't go down. Doesn't even call standing 8. Very controversial. And then Ben Whitaker getting in the face of Liam Cameron's corner, taunting them and nearly throwing hands. So it was a whole thing.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dude. It was a crazy fight. I definitely recommend watching it.
Dang, there was a lot that came out of it.
There was a lot. Ben Whitaker's a talented guy. I just,
He's a big-time showman.
And, man, I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts on it. So, but that's not really the point of this. I was gonna break into UFC Kansas City going down this Saturday night from our neck of the woods, Kansas City, T-Mobile Center in the main event. Originally set to be Jamal Hill, Khalil Rountree, which would have been 5 rounds of 205-pound chaos. Instead, it's going to be 5 rounds of a welterweight banger. Ian Garry has not been seen since his December loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Obviously, he stepped up on short notice for that one. Ian Garry, for all the stuff people have said about him, he has become the man. I don't care what anybody says. This is his second fight, stepping up on short notice to fade an undefeated killer. Carlos Prates is the man on the opposite end. Obviously, coming out of an incredible camp, coming off of, I believe, a knockout win over Neil Magny in November. Before that, he knocked out Li Jingliang. Before that, he knocked out Charles Radke. Before that, he knocked out Trevin Giles. Before that, he knocked out Richard Ramirez. Before that, so on and so forth. This guy has 27 fights, 16 wins, undefeated in the UFC, almost all of his 27 wins, 21 wins, 16 coming by way of knockout. Only 2 people have made it to the scorecards with this man. According to the current line from our friends over at BetMGM, we have, I believe, Ian Garry coming in as a small favorite unless the lines change. Yep, minus 125. Carlos Prates, a plus 105. Angel, my friend, what do you make of this fight? What do you make of the UFC coming back to Kansas City? I know you're going to be in attendance on Saturday night. Maybe not me, but definitely you. And give me your thoughts on the fight, man.
For once again, I can't believe it blessed with another great card, another great set of names. I can't believe that it's been. I can't believe we haven't gotten fucked over yet. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, we lost the main event, but whenever we lost the main event, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get something bad. Nah, man, this is arguably an even better fight depending on what perspective you have.
Yeah, I think the consequences of this fight are bigger than the previous fight.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Especially, and then if Prates wins this, I mean, he pretty much slingshots himself into the conversation for the title fights and all that. So, overall, really excited, really happy that we got this fight itself, man. God, what could I say? I mean, 2 of the most talented guys in this division. 31, a little older for Prates, not necessarily old by the UFC or fighting standards.
Yeah,
kind of prime age, if anything. I was looking back at some fights. I was looking at the record, of his 4-3. Of his four losses that he has his record, I think 3 are by submission.
Mm-hmm.
Actually 6, and then 2 lost by TKO. I forgot those 2 in there. So that was kind of worrisome. That was very early on in the career. I think that was maybe the first 10 fights that those occurred. He's gonna be fighting a guy who's very willing to fight the way he needs to win. If he needs to go to the ground, he'll take it to the ground. If he feels like he can maintain you on the stand-up fight you at range, he'll fight you at range. And he has the capabilities to finish the fight on the feet and the ground. It's a tough fight for Prates. I think there's some unanswered questions he'll answer on this night, but if he answers them, dude, it's against the perfect guy at the right time. Everything's gonna flow in the right place. The title at 170 is obviously gonna be wagered here in a week or 2. So yeah, this fight has a fuck ton of importance. As far as the fight itself and who I think will win, I mean, look, I hate to break some people's hearts. I am an Ian Garry believer. I think Ian Garry's gonna win it. I think if he has to take Prates off his feet, put him on the ground for 5 rounds and do it like that, he'll do that. And if he has to fight at range safely to maintain that, he'll do that as well. Prates is a deadly guy on the feet, though, not to be messed with. Plenty of Muay Thai fights, plenty of kickboxing fights under his belt too. So Ian's got his work. Ian's got some work to deal with on the feet. But look, we've seen Ian Garry in the 5-round fight before against a guy who was also like a killer, and people thought this is going to be the end of it. This is where the hype ends. And look where he's at right now. He's fighting again on short notice. He's confident in himself, and he has his self-belief. And he took the fucking call, dude. I mean, I respect the fuck out of that. I mean, who else is doing that? Especially as a ranked fighter. No ranked fighter likes putting their rank on the line.
Dude, we are in a position right now, which we'll talk about later on in the show, where the UFC has no main event for International Fight Week. And a lot of that is because guys are rejecting fights. Guys are like, I don't really want to fight that guy, or so on and so forth. Ian Garry, for what all people have said about him, is the man. He's stepping up to fight these guys, stepping up to fight Shao Kahn, like I said, stepping up to fight Carlos Prates, an undefeated killer in the UFC. Obviously, he's not undefeated overall, but undefeated in the promotion, so on and so forth. Man, I'm really conflicted on this fight. I feel like there's still a lot we don't know a lot about both guys, so to speak. Even though I feel like we learned a lot about Ian Garry in that Shavkat fight, even then Shavkat coming out afterwards, be like, I did have a torn MCL. So it's like, okay, well, how much can I really take away from that then? You know what I mean?
Right.
Carlos Prates, they do have similar opponents, though. They've had a few common opponents, Neil Magny mainly, where Ian Machado, both of them just dominated Neil Magny. So I'm not really sure how much you can take away from that. My gut tells me Ian Garry. That's my gut. There's a 50-50 matchup. Both guys short notice. Both guys have had, they've shown a lot, but there's still a lot of question marks about him. Ian Garry, I'm going with him. I feel more comfortable going with him because he's faced a high-level competition. He looks good on the feet, slick on the feet. He leaves himself open to be tagged, which is a big thing. Carlos Prates could easily tag him, maybe get him out of there. But I think that Ian Garry, he knows how to fight at range. I also think that he could take this fight down to the mat, kind of flip the script on him a little bit. You saw in that Shavkat fight that he does have really good back control. He is able to get the fight down there whenever he wants to. Maybe not all the time, but you get the point. I'm going with Ian Garry. I give him the more likely.
It's crazy because he's a younger guy too. 27.
Younger guy,
31.
Has the more 5-round experience in the UFC. I've seen him do more work on the mat. So if Carlos Prates maybe starts tagging him up, all right, shit, we got plan B, working with Charlie Olives every day. You know what I mean? That's just...
Dude, isn't that the crazy part too? It's going to be 2 Brazilian corners.
Yeah. which is crazy. Yeah.
Funny enough, Irish guy with a Brazilian corner to be the shoot box guys versus the fighting nerds.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Two incredible camps, Shoot box, which for a long time kind of like was they were in a legendary camp back in the day, kind of coasted along. Charlie always had kind of leading the resurgence. Then you have the fighting nerds, kind of they're on the rise. Kind of a cool little gym story, even adding that in
the background. Like,
yeah.
Granted though, both teams are very how do I want to word it? Very. They have chivalry, they're good people,
Oh, yeah.
They're not. It's not like there should be any drama there, It's gonna be good vibes that weekend, I think, on both ends.
Exactly. It's not like it's not like he's leading fucking SPG Ireland. They're trying to fight everybody. It's not like Team Diaz. You know what I mean? It's not like that type of shit. They're both generally pretty good camps.
Is that Eagle MMA versus SPG Ireland?
Yes, it's not that sort of vibe. Now, granted, Ian Garry and Carlos Prates kind of going back and forth in the media. I saw Carlos Prates
That's dope.
I saw Carlos Prates in the previews like, this guy fucking said he's gonna KO me. You can knock out Neil Magny. The fuck? He was kind of like mad. It's like, all right, Carlos Prates, all right. We'll see what happens. So I love the fight, 50-50. We'll see what happens. Co-main event, bit of a weird one. A weird one in the way, not that it's placed on this card. It makes a lot of sense. Anthony Lionheart Smith, his final fight. And I don't want to call him a legend, but a guy who's been around in the game for, decades now.
He's a legend of the game.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think he's probably going to get into the Hall of Fame for one of these wars he's had, honestly. Honor him in that way. Former title challenger, long-time ranked guy, been in the top 15 since he's essentially moved up to light heavyweight back in 2019. Point being, taking on the unranked Zhang Mingyang, who is, I believe he's won 2 in a row by knockout. Very hard-hitting guy, not very well-known, not ranked. Kind of a weird fight in that aspect. But it is what it is. Current line, according to our friends, once again, follow the link down below. Do it a bit MGM. Zhang Mingyang is a minus 500 favorite. Anthony Smith a plus 380. It's one of those things that sound crazy on paper, but Anthony Smith has looked washed to the heavens over his last few fights. Obviously, losing to Roman Dolidze, getting kind of dominated when Roman stepped up on short notice, too. Losing all 3 rounds. Dominic Reyes, dominating him, beating him. But then again, you could argue he had the death of his coach, unfortunately. So there's been a lot of stuff going on for Anthony Smith. Point being, final fight, retirement fight. What do you make of it, man?
I don't know if he had to take this. Knowing him, he likes fighting, dude. He doesn't really want to get away from it. But yeah, I think he's finally getting to the position where he's realizing, and obviously because it is a retirement fight, like, oh, it's time to go. And the only way he knows how to go is to end it on one more fight.
Yeah.
So this will be his 59th professional fight.
Why would you stop at 59?
I know, so close to 60. It was kind of sad.
Dude, the OCD in my brain is just,
But 59 professional. That guy stepped into that fucking cage, in his 30 plus years of life, however old he is now. 59 times. 59, he cut weight 59 times. Well, maybe not all those times, but
yeah. Even
then had to show up on weight 59 times, make the walk, and go through hell several times. That's pretty fucking badass, man. You can't take away from anything. As much as people want to make fun of Anthony Smith, as much as people want to joke about his career, and especially the end of it, like, the guy is like, I think a legitimate good human being, but a tough motherfucker, dude. His toughness you cannot question how tough he is.
Anthony Smith, for as much as people like to shit on him, like you just said, I think he's kind of one of the most, that 2019 run was one of the best. Like, it shows like how far somebody can go. Like, it shows like, all right, dare to be great. You can't count somebody out all the time. Like Anthony Smith, it's easy to forget, man. People clown on him, but like I said, like you just said, at one point in his career, he was fucking 29-13, like unranked guy at middleweight, and then he just needed less than a year to earn a title shot. He knocked out Rashad Evans, he knocked out Shogun Hui, and he defeated Volkanovski by stoppage. He got a title shot, came up short, it happens. But like even then, he's had other good runs. That 3-fight run, like a year or two ago, when he beat Ryan Spann, Jimmy Crute, Devin Clark, beat all those guys by finish. He's a guy that has been able to like be around for a long time. He's never saying he's not quitting on himself. And I think there's a lot that young fighters can take away from Anthony Smith in that way. This is a bad matchup though, man. This is a real bad matchup. Like you said, he could have rejected this one. I personally would have. I think that this is a fight that you gain very little from if you're Anthony Smith. And generally at this point, you probably want to fight a veteran. You probably want to fight somebody kind of more around your age.
The only scary thing is, he's going to go out there and give it his fucking all.
He is. He's going to swing and bang against a guy who's bigger than him, taller than him, younger than him.
10 years younger.
10 years younger. Doesn't have the fight miles. Hits like a Mack truck. It's a bad matchup, man. I'm just going to call it a spade a spade. They could have given him an older guy,
By the way,
didn't.
Doing America versus China and Kansas, Strategic or not, interesting choice.
Hey, you know what, man? It works, I guess. Yeah, I mean, look, the fight will be fun, but I don't think it's gonna go off for Lionheart. I got Zhang Yang probably by first round stoppage, if I'm being completely honest.
More likely than not.
Now, granted, we should also say Zhang Yang is not a proven guy at all. Well, the opposite end, just kind of give Anthony kind of a little, how is his path to victory? Zhang Yang hits really, really hard, far from proven. Like I said, he's unranked, very inexperienced in the UFC. Could Lionheart out-veteran him? And
I feel like he's going to try to entertain us, though. I feel like he's going to try to entertain us one more time.
That's the issue. That's the issue. Like, if it's a retirement fight, it'd be okay, maybe more 50-50, but it's his final.
By the way, are we just a retirement town now? We're having another retirement fight in Kansas.
We have a double retirement last year, Ed Herman and...
2 years ago now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. 2 years ago now. Ed Herman, and who was it that he fought? I can't remember his name. Was it
Zach Cummings?
Zach Cummings, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've had a couple fights. Never retirement fight. Obviously, Lionheart is from Nebraska, so that's why he's retiring here.
He's come to Kansas City quite a bit, though.
Yeah, I feel like he's lived in Kansas City for a little bit, but yeah. At one point. But point being, yeah, I mean, Nebraska native. This is probably the closest you're gonna get. I mean, I guess he's either this or fight on the Iowa card. So
man,
yeah.
He was like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not going to Iowa, you know?
I hate Iowa.
No offense to Iowa. I mean, we're not a state with a lot going on either. Point being, man, this UFC Kansas City card, you're going to be on the ground covering it for the Courtside Soundoff podcast.
Yeah, dude, live streaming it on
Periscope. Yeah, Periscope, bro.
Is that still around?
Yeah, we're on Periscope, dude. We're going to be uploading clips to Vine all week.
God. MySpace, too.
Oh, yeah, dude, of course. We're actually going to stream it live on Mixer, bro. That's what we're going to be doing it. Anyways, rest of the card, you got some bangers, you got some matchups. Give me what you're personally looking forward to. Like I said, you're kind of...
I think
I'm going to let you take the lead on this
dude,
one.
so many of them, dude.
Yeah.
I think Giga Chikaze, David Onama, down one. Onama,
banger.
Local guy.
Yeah.
2 powerhouses right there. Michelle Pejea. I mean, dude, that's all you need to hear. It doesn't even matter who's on the other end against Abus Magomed.
That's going to be one round of chaos.
As I said, it's Magomedov, Abus Magomedov. And like you said, that's going to be one round of chaos. I mean, shit, dude, that's all they need anyways.
Yeah.
Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby. Dude, that could be on a pay-per-view. You wouldn't be mad.
No, not at all. That's a very good matchup.
Ikram Aliskerov, Andre Muniz. I mean, dude, another quality fight. By the way, both formerly ranked at one point too there.
Yeah.
Matt Schnell, Jimmy Flick. I mean, it's Matt
dude,
Schnell.
that it's Matt Schnell and it's Jimmy Flick, bro. That's all you got to say. I mean, Matt Schnell, Jimmy Flick. Matt Schnell, one of those entertaining guys in the UFC. Jimmy Flick didn't. I mean, he had that one just what was it? Incredible flying triangle in his debut, and then he has not won since, but he's still a very entertaining guy. Sorry to cut you off. I tried to get some shine to the Oklahoma native Jimmy Flick, Jimmy the Brick Flick.
Wait, of course on here, Chris Gutierrez, John Castaneda, banger. By the way, 145, not 135 for. Wait, was Chris Gutierrez at 135? Am I tripping? Yeah, former bantamweight, now moved up to featherweight. Is this an official move? I kind of wonder. We don't know, but I just want to point that out. Damon Blackshear, banger. Cameron Simon against Malcolm Wellmaker, the UFC newcomer.
I like that.
Jacqueline Armorin, good grappler. There's Poliana Viana, another banger. And then Roberto Romero came on short notice, I think, last year. He had a good performance. And by the way, Jocelyn Edwards coming to Kansas City again.
Yeah.
This is the second time around against Chelsea Chandler. So
That's
plenty.
that's
I think there's plenty. I think there's so much to like here. I think even more than the previous card.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, I thought the previous card was fun, but pretty top heavy. I mean, you had Clay Guida on there. You got a couple of older vets, but
it did what it had to do.
Yeah, and there were a couple of fights there that didn't really live up to the hype. I remember there was oh man, who was it that Pedro Munoz fought that night? Was it Chris? Was it Chris?
I think it was Gutierrez. It was kind of an F fight. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a Yeah, we were right. Okay, so yeah, point being, this is a very solid card. If you're in Kansas City and you got nothing else to do on Saturday, and you want to chill out $300, definitely go for it.
After fees, fuck. I mean, that'll probably be right.
Yeah, probably, man. I mean,
once you get your beer and your fucking 7-Eleven hot dog.
Yeah, I saw MMA On Point made a really good video, just to shout them out about UFC ticket pricing, and I definitely watch it if you're a fan of MMA On Point or any sort of, because like for us, we're kind of like just 2 years ago we went, and now it's like, damn, do you look at these prices? Like they are completely shot through the roof.
Dude, we saw Max Holloway, bro. Yeah, we saw Max Holloway ground seats
for a fraction of what you're. I mean, if you want to do ground seats now, it'd be thousands of dollars.
Yeah. No.
So brutal. But hey, man, if you're in the Kansas City area, you want to have fun, go out there. They're doing weigh into the Midland on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are. So
wait, at the Midland?
At the Midland Theater. Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of an interesting thought. You know, I thought they were gonna do so.
Fuck, I might have to drive down. Yeah.
So here's what happened. I remember their first time they came to UC Kansas City was in 2016 2017, right? 2018, 2017. Point being, I remember they had the weigh-ins out at Power and Light, like out in the public, out, and it was like a beautiful day, the sunshine, all great setup.
DJ was defending his title though.
Yeah, great setup. Point being, and then they had next time was 2023 or whatever. I remember they did it at T-Mobile and like nobody showed up, and it was kind of a weird look. Now they're doing it in the Midlands, so we'll see what happens. Maybe get some people to show up. It'll be fun. Yeah, man, I'm not doing anything that day, so maybe I'll head on down. Who knows? Point being, yeah, we'll see if I make it out. I'm planning on being at UFC Kansas City doing some coverage, uploading a few videos of the channel, but if not, we'll see what happens. Point being, there is a banger boxing match going down. Jake Paul is fighting Julio. No, I'm kidding. Get that shit out of here. That was officially announced last week, but we got a banger going down from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, London, England. Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn. This fight is 3 years in the making. First announced back in the summer of 2022.
Dude, it's been that long. Holy
it feels,
fuck.
Dude, I know, bro. It feels insane how long it's been going. But it was announced back in the summer of 2022. He's supposed to fight in October. A week out from the event, Conor Benn, the clomiphene, did test positive. I'm not saying why. I'm not saying maybe he did eat too many eggs. I don't know. I don't know the science.
Can you fight it in eggs? Is that actually a thing?
Yeah, that's what he said to the WC. He released this like 60-page document about how like if you eat too many eggs, like over egg consumption can lead to signs of clomiphene.
Hey man, you know,
I don't know. I don't know.
He's the top level athlete. You know, a lot of athletes consume a lot of eggs. You know, there might be some.
That's true.
To that.
Maybe I'm on clomiphene right now. I eat a lot of eggs as well.
Do you?
I do. I eat a lot of eggs.
You're wasting your money on that shit.
Yeah, dude. I didn't know eggs were going to be a luxury item. I thought the economy was going to be fixed by now. I don't know. Point being, yeah, fuck it. Anyway, so we know the story. Conor Benn failed the drug test. I believe technically failed 2 years of battling with the British Boxing Board of Control. Eventually getting cleared to fight. And shout out the boss man, Turkey Al-Sheikh, HE, His Excellency, booking the fight. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn going down this weekend on the Zone pay-per-view. We're gonna have, man, what's I know it sold out this morning. 62,000 fans in attendance over in the UK.
Shout out to UK.
Shout out to UK, man. It's a generational rivalry. You gotta remember their dads fought in the 90s. One of the biggest British boxing rivalries. I know Nigel Benn will be there. Chris Eubank Sr. There's a thing going on. He publicly hates this fight. He very publicly hates this fight. He doesn't like that. He's like, it makes no sense. Conor is a welterweight. Chris is more of a super middleweight. You know,
what's the gap in that? Like number
28 pounds.
Oh wow!
But they're meeting at 160. So wait a minute. No, I think I got that wrong. I think it's more like 20 pounds. Because yeah. So Conor's been fighting at welterweight, which I believe it was 147. Chris has been fighting at super middleweight, which is 168, if I remember correctly. So 20 pounds. They're going to meet in the middle at 160, I believe. But, I mean, Chris Eubank has fought at as low as middleweight, too. It's not like he's not just making the cut. But point being, yeah, this is an interesting fight. I dig it a lot. I know a lot of people have had a lot of thoughts on it, man. What do you make of it?
I love how big this card feels for me personally. You know, even though I'm not like a hardcore like boxing fan, really genuinely, I know like several people on this card just throughout the years. I mean, let's see, Chris Eubanks, obviously Liam Smith have been around for a while now. But dude, to like compliment some of like the younger guys, dude. I mean, Aaron McKenna. I remember being at like Buffalo Wild Wings in like 2018, 2017. He's fighting on the undercard of a Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah,
that's the first time I ever saw Aaron McKenna, and I watched him. And I didn't forget him. I don't know why, but something stuck with me. I'm like, that kid's gonna do some shit someday. Look where he's at now. He's fighting Liam Smith in the co-main event. Like he's gonna be in England, doing that shit, man. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And then obviously one that close for me and Josh, more or less because of where like how kind of all this started and kind of how our channel, I'm not gonna say blew up, but kind of like the origins of the channel. Fucking Vidal Riley, man.
Yeah,
you know, him getting his opportunity here against Trayvon Clark,
which is just that's such a good fight. That might be like, dude, honestly,
that might be fight of the night.
Both of those guys are genuinely like future championship material. I think they both hold like UK regional belts, but like 5 years from now, if you're like, oh yeah, Chev Clark is WBA champion, Vidal's the ring
like
champion,
you know, the disrespect to Vidal, man, like for him to be in this position, like the fucking disrespect, the shit talk, and not even just that, like the shit talk that came from professional athletes towards him, like actual boxers, and then the disrespect that came from people who were non-boxers, who were influencers talking shit to Vidal. It's like, dude, fuck you guys.
Oh, dude,
fuck you guys, because I'm here now.
It's like Jake Paul talking shit to Vidal. Like, dude, do you know what he would do to you? Like, do you actually know? Like, you're trying to fight.
You know what's funny? The Shane the Cannon Vidal Riley rivalry doesn't seem like, oh my god, it's not like, oh dude, that's Shane the Cannon. It's like, dude, that's Vidal Riley too.
Vidal Riley, bro. He's that good. He is genuine, one of the greatest on the planet.
And I've loved and like I've watched like a lot of his fights leading up to this moment. Like I've watched like a good 3, 4, or 5, especially the ones he had in the Middle East. Like I like the way he boxes. I find him entertaining.
Yeah,
I'm happy he's getting this shine, and hopefully he goes on to do bigger and greater things.
Yeah, man. It is an excellent fight, and it's like you said for Vidal, it's that huge moment to get approved, but also for Chev Clark, man.
Oh yeah,
Chev Clark
is
a young kid, former Olympian on the rise. You know, I love that fight, man. I love that. That's going to be a banger.
But dude, there's these group of like English 200 pounders right now that are like they're close, dude.
Yeah.
You know, there's like another 4 or 5 guys that I don't personally know, but I've looked at the rankings. I know they're talking shit between each other. Like there is a legit rivalry in London right now between like multiple cruiserweights, and it's like this division could shake up to be like the lower weight classes. Like at one point, like where it was like Devin Haney, Teofimo, Gervonta, you know, all that group, and now it's gonna be, and now it feels like at this higher weight class, it might end up being these guys. Yeah,
well, and also let me say this too. Like this is a card that you mentioned, like it was like a lot of those UK guys. This is a UK centric card. Like we're excited for it, but if you're in the States, I completely understand if you're like, you know what, I'm not going to spend money on this. I'm going to wait for Rye Guy, take it on Rolando Romero. I'm going to wait for that Times Square. I'm going to wait for Canelo. This one is a very UK-centric card. You're going from main event all the way down. Main event, obviously, is the British rivalry. Eubank and Benn. You have the history there. Liam Smith, beefy, big in the UK, taking on Aaron McKenna. I believe an Irish kid, like you said, prospect. Anthony R. Lyndon Arthur fought twice already. 2 UK former regional champions.
By the way, is that not like your 7-Eleven like fucking roller?
Oh, dude, as in the words of BC, basically. The words of Brian Campbell, a friend of the show, Morning Combat. Yeah, that's the roller. These guys have already fought twice already. They really don't need to fight, but both fights were so
Guy
fun.
Fieri, trash can nachos, you know?
Yes, literally. And both guys, both fights were fun. So it's like, does there need to be a trilogy between two guys where it's kind of like regionally based and not really? They've had some success at world level, but not really.
I think yes.
They don't need to make it happen. But you know what? The 7-Eleven hot dog eater in me. You know, would I love to see just these guys bang it out for 12 rounds?
But I saw Anthony Yard rock Sergey Kovalev.
That, you know what? He did.
At like 11 a.m. in the morning, like 5-6 years ago.
You know what? Hey, you know what? He gave it as good as he got against Better Be too. He went in there and he was like, fuck it, dude. We're brawling. And he did. He landed some big shots. I appreciate guys that go for it, man. Dare to be great. But kind of redirect it back to the main event just to kind of do a quick preview. I can't actually make a prediction because I'm helping, you know.
Dude, that was 2019, by the way, when you lost to Kovalev in round 11.
Damn. Yeah, it was a banger, though. He almost won that one. Yeah, so just kind of break down the main event. Like I said, I'm not going to make a prediction, but try and preview it as best I can. Look, man, if you're unaware of these two guys, it's such a banger. I understand that some people are like, maybe the weight's too much. Even Chris being senior, like I said, thinking the weight is too much. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The family rivalry makes it make sense. These are also two guys who are in a really weird spot in their careers where a huge win can elevate them to a next, either a Canelo fight or a title fight or whatever it may be. Chris Eubank Jr., we know the story. Kind of a guy that's he's been up and down, man. He's won a few world titles, but he's never really gotten to prove himself to that top tier level where he's kind of been like the guy in any division. He's had a couple losses to George Groves, obviously. He lost to Liam Smith, got upset a few years back, but then he came back and dominated him later in the year under the tutelage, I believe, Jonathan Banks. He knocked out Camille Murata back in October to win the IBO middleweight title. Taking on Conor Benn. Conor Benn, obviously, like I said, welterweight, much smaller guy, has the steroid kind of, I guess clomifene's not a steroid. Isn't clomifene a estrogen blocker? Unless somebody...
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Point being, this kid is the real deal.
There's at least allegations pointing in a direction of potential steroid use.
That is a good way to say that. Yeah. So clomifene's used to treat infertility in women. So yeah.
So arguably he could have been using that coming off cycle to deal with high levels of testosterone, or lower estrogen levels.
Which again, I don't know the science behind it, so I'm just gonna. Point being though, he's a guy that was on the rise. He was knocking out everybody. He knocked out Chris Algieri, knocked out Chris Van Herden. He beat a couple of former champions in there. But he's never faced anybody on the top tier level. In these 2 fights in the last 2 years, both of them went to decision. And it's kind of
who's this fight more important for you? Like, who do you think this is a more important fight for?
I think it's a more important fight for Chris Eubank Jr. I think for Conor Benn, if he loses this fight, he can go back down to welterweight and have a fine career.
And he has the excuse like, oh, I had to go up a weight.
I had to go up 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a totally valid excuse. Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah, what
though.
is that, like 6 pounds in boxing? No,
Yeah. I mean, oh man, what would it be? I mean, 147 to 160 is 13 pounds. So, but he's fighting a guy that only fights a super welterweight. So, point being, a massive size advantage for Chris Eubank Jr. So if he were to go in there and get
on top of height and reach, because he does have a height and reach advantage.
Yeah. But look, dude, and a lot of people are just saying, like, because of the experience of Eubank, because of he's a bigger guy, and he hits hard too, man. He hits really, really hard. He's not like some guy that doesn't have power or anything. Like, he's been icing dudes up at 168. So, I don't know, man. It's a very conflicting fight. I think Conor Benn does have a good shot to win, though, man. I'll put it like that. Gun to my head prediction I can't make, actually, legally. I'm like, just ethically, not legally, but like ethically, I don't want to make one. But like I said, I love the fight. Conor Benn, he's a great pressure fighter, though, man.
I'll put it like this. Do the betting odds make sense to you? I think you can say that.
Yeah, I believe Eubank's a minus 170, maybe, according to BetMGM, and Ben's a plus 135. So it's basically a coin flip matchup. We have a lot of unknowns about a lot of different guys. Point being, the fight itself is going to be a banger. Couldn't be more excited for it. Like I said, this weekend on DAZN, pay-per-view. We'll see it go down, man. Anything else we talk about on this card before we go and move on?
No, I mean, like I said, it's a banger. There's just so much to like. Like I said, I'm excited for these young guys to get this opportunity in Vidal and Aaron McKenna. And really, hopefully, these guys get the showcase and love that they deserve, because they're talents. They're people who deserve attention right now.
Absolutely. And like I said, man, I love that fight, man. I love that main event. I love it a lot. And the more stuff you watch about it, it's like, damn, like it really. Like you see, like you
get rattled up.
Yeah, I get fired up, man.
By the way, didn't they do a face to face?
I feel like they did, but I feel like that was a while ago.
But
they've done a lot of good promotional stuff.
Did you see that Ryan and them did like a face? It was like Raleigh Romero, Teofimo, Devin.
Oh my god, they did a podcast on like a building in Times Square.
Dude, that shit. How did they?
The funniest 20 minutes.
How much security do you think had to be there?
Honestly, dude, probably not a lot. They were all actually surprisingly chill.
I mean, I thought that too, but I'm like, dude, like that shit could pop off.
It could pop off, but it didn't. And dude, it was like Teofimo and Devin Haney were in completely different climates. Devin Haney was dressed to the nines, bro. He looked like he had a blanket on and everything. Teofimo shirtless, talking, just yelling the whole time in suspenders. Like,
it felt like you were listening to fucking Plug Talk, you know?
Yeah, dude. It was like I was like listening to the boys just shoot the shit, you know? Like it was literally like it was like that, you know? Like at one point. The funniest part is like probably like after like 15 minutes of Teofimo just not talking the entire time. Like he interrupts Devin. Devin's like, I'm not really focused on Ryan. I got to get through Jose Ramirez first. Teo's like, nah, you'll be fine. They'll let you through. He's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like it's just, oh my god. Like,
dude, it was like, I can't say that.
Teofimo was so
I can't
funny,
say that on air, but
dude. I gotta give props. Teofimo did a hard carry. That shit was so funny, man. He just talked. It's true. He talked the entire time, dude.
I think I could. Fuck it. I think it was like ELL class fucking vibes, dude. I'm just gonna say, as someone who was in the ELL class, like it was that kind of vibe. Yeah, I think I could get away with that.
Yeah, dude. Dude. Yeah, I don't even need. I think it was any class, bro. That was straight up high school in there, man. Like he's at one point. Todd Grisham asked him, "He's like, how are you game planning for doing the left hook of Ryan? Or you struggled with that in the last fight?" And TFM was like, "You're gonna let him talk to you like that, Devin? Like, don't take that." Like,
did you see that shit where they were talking to Raleigh and they're like, "How do you prepare for, or how do you get your cardio?" And he's like, "There's like a little pause, and how Raleigh, it takes Raleigh a second to process information, He was like, "I fuck 3 times a day."
I love Raleigh Romero, dude. Did you see the clip of him hitting the bag?
I heard about it.
Yeah, he's hitting the bag, and he's like, and it's just like, and then like he plays it completely straight. He goes completely normal. He's like hitting the bag, but every time it's that. And then Ryan Garcia did the same thing, bro. He came out with a video like 3 days later of him doing the same shit. Just like
if I didn't tell you Raleigh Romero was I guess world-class boxer, you wouldn't believe it, would you?
No, he's also a world-class judoka, dude. People have no idea. Raleigh Romero is the most interesting man in boxing. You could argue with a wall. I do not care.
By the way, I listened to MK bring that up. They showed the clip of that where Raleigh says that it looks like 3 times a day. He's like appalled at it. He's like, that's a lot of work. I'm like, damn, dude, aging must suck. 3 times, dude. I could go 3 times in an hour right now, Luke. Like, You're still gonna get 3 times at that age.
He is like 44 years old. You know,
He was
like I think
he was a dude, but he was like surprised. He was like 3. That's not even humanly possible.
Luke's like, even in my prime, I was doing 2 a day. I mean,
1 in the morning, 1 at night, and he's like, I was half dead by the end of all of that.
Yeah, dude, I love Rolly Romero. That card is coming up next week, Times Square.
God, I love that.
Friday
God,
Friday night, I
that.
believe. Yeah, man, I love that. I love that card. Excited for it. Also excited for this weekend, Chris Eubank, Conor Benn. So great stuff coming from the ring, and a couple of fights being promoted by Mr. Turpy Al-Sheikh, His Excellency himself. Point being, we got a few other things to go ahead and rock on through. And one of those, man, the PFL. We actually have a few things to talk about with the PFL because PFL had a PFL 3 card. We'll recap it. That won't be very long. Because during the show they made an announcement. I feel like every week we come on the show and there's something negative happening with the PFL, and I hate it because like I want to support the PFL. Like I genuinely want to. Like Don Davis, even though
there's like a PFL diehard out there. He's like, fuck you guys.
kind of one of the 30,000 viewers they have, which is
That's 30,000 more than us.
well, I mean, technically it's like 28, but I mean, we'll take what we can get. We're almost at 2K.
Right.
Point being, man, this card honestly ruled. PFL 3 once again in Universal Studios, being filmed there. Fabian Edwards in the main event, knocking out Impa Kasangane. You had Gadzi Ramadov defeating Mark Casey by knockout. All finishes on the main card, actually. Dalton Rasta defeating Sadu Sai. Love me some Dalton Rasta.
But once again, though, Josh, the issue's not the fights.
It's never been the fights. It's been the pacing. It's been everything else surrounding the company. JJ Wilson picked up a win, as did Alfie Davis. Dude, the knockout of the night, though. Alfie Davis, spinning back elbow, Clay Collard, like dropping into the elbow, out cold from the second it landed.
I need to watch that.
Brutal finish. Give me your thoughts on you've seen this card. Give me your thoughts on.
I saw like highlights. I saw very little. I didn't actually get to watch this one. And I've been trying to catch some of the PFL cards just because the fights have been entertaining. Like
this is probably the best PFL like overall year they've had thus far. At the start of the year.
As far as like entertainment value, yeah. I'd say so. I think that's a correct assessment.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't expect Fabian to win. Not gonna lie, especially a finish.
No, man. I mean, I thought, man, I knew that one of these guys was gonna get finished. 2 very hard hitting guys. Fabian struggled a bit lately, man. So I was hyped for him.
Didn't
for him.
Impa tag Fabian though? Like,
yeah, he tagged him
the Impa way, and then Fabian turned around.
He tagged him in the first round. Yeah, and Fabian Edwards, man, battling back. He lost 2 of his last 3.
By the way, Gotsi just fucking ran through Mark Decay. I mean, that one was just
30 seconds. Yeah,
that was just kind of like, fuck. You can have that level of dominance as a human being.
You're just that good.
Like that's fucking terrifying.
I didn't know you're allowed to be that good in the PFL. I had no idea.
But you fucking are.
Yeah, man. Point being, great stuff there. I like this card. Solid night of fights. During the show, and we have to talk about this because we have a few. I gotta be honest with you guys. We're kind of unintentionally be kind of negative to close out the show.
Damn, Josh.
But point being, so
I think we're being hypercritical. I don't think
hypercritical is a good way to.
I don't think being negative. I think being negative is just being mopey and bringing the mood down. I don't think we're trying to bring.
I'm not trying to bring the mood down. I'm trying to like just talk about some real. This is some real talk right now. It's about like
this is the Real Talk
like
podcast.
Like men do. Yeah.
Are we like rebranding right now?
We're rebranding into the Real Talk podcast. Yeah, and then we're gonna have on like. We're gonna get like Fresh from Fresh and Fit, and then we're just gonna have him here, and like we're just gonna have like we're rebranding to a dude.
That'd be a scary podcast.
Manosphere podcast. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying that how would Fresh here? Do you think we could even like handle an hour of Fresh?
I think we could handle him. I don't think it'd be easy, but I think we could do it. Like we'll just be like, yeah, dude, you see that Andrew Tate video, and then we'll just talk for probably like an hour, and then just like, dude, but this is all tough. Did you see that Andrew Tate video of him like doing like the 10 of the worst shoulder presses in your life? And then, dude, I don't know how it's got on my feed, and like I even retweeted it, quote tweeted it. I was like, dude, like his form pisses me off. It's him doing like 10 of the worst shoulder presses in your life, and then hitting like hitting the hookah, and it's him just scrolling on computer. And it's like what's the name of his university? Hustle University, some shit. It's like the Twitter account. It's like, this is how the life should be, or some shit. And it's like, dude, like. If I ever did that, 10 shoulder presses that were that bad looking, I'd just ice myself right there. I'd call up Fabian Edwards and be like, yo, beat my ass, bro. Like, somebody has to do it, Like,
on a not so lighter note.
Not so lighter note. Yeah, man, the PFL. Dakota Dicheva coming out in an interview with MMA Junkies, Mike Bone. And I want to give him credit. I'm a big fan of the Bonfire, the podcast, Shout out Mike Bone. Point being, she comes out and says, hey, I was really hoping, and it's something she's actually said back in like December after she won the whole tournament. She's like, yeah, like I would love to be active next year. I'm young. You know, I know I'm improving. I want to stay active. So we're in May and she doesn't have a fight book. Basically in May. I mean, it's April 23rd. You know what I mean? We're closing out this month of April.
She was being real.
She was being real. She's like, I have no fight booked. I don't know what my future is. Nobody's talked to me. Not even 3 days later, they fly her out. I not fly her out because she was already training in, I think, Miami. So she had to head over to Orlando. And they announced on the broadcast, Dakota Ichiba back in July, fighting on a PFL Championship Series card. There will be 4 events for the rest of the year for these PFL Championship Series cards. Obviously, the first one happened in January, headlined by Usman Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes. Man, what are they doing? Well, did she really have to go out public? You can't book a fight for think about their stars at the moment.
She didn't bash them either.
No, she didn't. But she still had the fact that she had to go public says a lot.
Well, shit, other people went public and it didn't fucking matter apparently.
That's true. Patchy Mick's still waiting for a fight. I feel
like he's trying to get out of his contract.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Because at a certain point, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. I feel bad for these guys.
Dude, they lost Pico and Pitbull, and they probably going to lose Patchy Mix. And when did she was a fucking card
she's leaving too, and I don't blame her because
and I'm sure the UFC will match whatever granted for her. I mean, if they match, good for her. She'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's almost depressing. It's depressing because I want to like the PFL. I really do. I really want to like them. We preview the cards and recap them for a reason because
there's good fights.
There's good fights.
There's fun fighters.
Nobody talks about them. And I think a lot of these guys deserve the shine. They really do. The issue is that man, I feel dumb for doing it because I was dude, they're not going to be around in T-minus 2 years at the rate they're going, they are losing money, a lot of it. And it's I don't even know, do they have a game plan? Do they have anything? The game plan seems to be a fighter complains and they'll either book him in the case of Dakota Ichiba, or they'll release him and then talk shit about him, or they won't release him and then they'll talk shit about him. Don Davis saying, we don't hold anybody under contract here, if you don't want to be here,
strategy-wise, what they what the room is like what is their long-term because companies have these meetings. They're okay, next year and the next 2 years, 3 years, what are our goals? I genuinely wonder what their timeline is.
So I think their timeline and their goal was probably to build up this company and then sell it for capital. Don Davis is a venture capitalist. He start a business, sell it off, go to the next thing. He does not care about MMA. He couldn't name a single MMA fight when they asked him what his favorite MMA fight was. I think that's the game plan. The issue is that MMA is not a business you can do that You can't just come through, do all this, and then just leave. It's not the way the business works. People can see through that shit in the sport. They know that you guys don't care. So they're not going to watch.
Dude, we need Chatri Sinyatong to come in and save him.
I mean, dude, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Chatri Sinyatong is Dana White compared to these people, dude. He's so much better.
Right now, one is doing well for themselves with these Muay Thai shows. They're in a good spot.
They're in a good spot. They're saving money. And I think they should book their MMA people more. You've heard some murmurs about this with one championship, but not to the degree of the PFL. So I don't know what they're doing.
Inherently, you'll hear more positive things about one from the fighters than you will to the PFL.
Yeah, and the fans, because at least they're doing something new. The PFL,
people like the fights too. That one.
Yeah, people complain about the PFL tournament, and they were spending $7 million a year. How many tournaments do they have a year? 7, something like that.
That's including logistics and all that.
Yeah, it's they're doing that, and fans were publicly pretty unhappy with the PFL format for a long time. Now they're changing it, but it's too late.
Dude, does anybody I'm trying to figure out why what their whole I think their whole thing is they think they need to have a shtick, but they don't.
No, but if they're gonna do a shtick, do it more how they're doing it now with this kind of Bellator, just a normal tournament. This guy went here, have them face each other, so on and so forth. That's fine. But the fact that it took them so long to change it,
not even just that, but even have we'll run one tournament a year.
Yeah, there you go.
For fun. That way we can maintain a champ active no matter what.
Yeah, there you go. That works. But they're just not booking these guys, and it sucks, these guys and these gals, because the fact that dude, I'm just gonna go and I'm shoot right now. I'm doing a shoot right now. This is my real opinion. Dude, the fact that they are in this position is their own fault. It is completely their own fault. They have had public fund. We know how much money they're getting because these public, they release press releases. Oh, fucking Wiz Khalifa gave us funding, this guy gave us funding. We're working with Saudi Arabia. And you tell me you can't find a spot for Dakota until she complains. She is a young woman, entertaining as fuck. Dominated Talia Santos, who's nearly UFC champion in her last fight.
And they've had moments of success. I remember whenever they were to do events during like still pandemic or post-pandemic,
Yeah.
they kind of gained a little bit of traction because it was something else that was on television.
Yeah.
And they were getting a little bit, and they were getting a lot of TV spots, dude. I'd be at the gym and I'd be seeing them there
Yeah.
all the time on Twitter. They were getting a decent bit of attention, but then they just can never do anything with that.
Yeah, and now they have less traction than ever, partially because of the fact that like they've booked themselves in this corner. Like they're just not like, dude.
And I genuinely thought they had a chance. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, I talked about it on the show 2 years ago now. I'm like, dude, if they have the right direction, they're gonna be cooking. They got the money and they got the stars.
It seemed like
now they've lost all the stars, and I don't know what they're doing with the money.
Did they even have the money? They might
I
have
don't
lost all
know.
the money now.
I don't know.
They might have lost
like,
all the money.
I have nothing to prove this, but it feels like they got that $100 million from the Saudis, and they're like, oh man, let's just repay our original investors. That's the only thing that makes sense because like they've been in a hole ever since. They've been barely booking events ever since then. So I don't know. But yeah, man, Dakota Dicheva, young, entertaining, attractive, charismatic, and you can't book a fight for her. What are we doing, bro? Like honestly, you have the most ready-made star you could possibly
Give me
have.
the keys to the PFL, man. I'm telling you.
Let us cook.
Let us
Don, just give me and Angel, give us the keys for a week, and you'll be in a better spot. But you could also say the same for the UFC, which gets us into part 2 of the subject. Man, nothing is set for the main event of International Fight Week in June. Other people have been talking about this, other podcasts have been discussing this, and I feel like we should as well, because International Fight Week is now, I mean, less than 2 months. I mean, we're a bit over 2 months away. I think it's the end of June. It is the end of April right now. Las Vegas, we know they're filling out the Hall of Fame. We have nothing after International Fight Week. There have been rumors, everything from Hamzat DDP to fucking Alexander Pantoja to Kai Kara France. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are a bunch of fights, but none of which have really seemed like headline worthy. Give me your thoughts on the situation, man. Other people have been talking about this. It seems like the UFC is kind of screwed for July. Not July, maybe end of June.
It's kind of depressing because I feel like no matter what, we'll end up getting a very shitty version of whatever fight they're going to give us, or a fight that we didn't want at all.
Yeah.
This is kind of reminiscing of last year, dude. Last year when they were trying to figure out what they were going to do for UFC 300, and it just, dude, we were like, I mean, what was it? Like a month out? It was a month out, right?
Yeah.
A month out, and they're like, they dropped an event on us. And it was like, okay, cool, but is this the best version possible of this fight? Probably not, you know? So it's happening again. A bunch of fighters that we want to see aren't booked, and then there's like a bunch of like a number of things that are delaying it, and some of it's out of their control, but some of it is in their control, and they need to like figure out what to do, because we have Ilya who said he's literally not going to fight unless it's for the title. We have Islam who doesn't want to fight Ilya. We have Arman waiting in the wing, but the UFC seemed to be upset with him because of what happened when he was last booked for a title shot. Oliveira's a choice, but and then Islam is waiting for 170, waiting to see the results of 170 when that title fight against JDM and Bilal, and see if Bilal maintains his title or if JDM wins. Because we kind of feel like, or at least my thought process, I don't know if it's the same with Josh's, is I think we'll figure out what's going to happen after JDM Bilal. And I think if that is the occur, we're probably going to get a vacant 155 title fight between Ilya and X fighter. And then Islam's going to fight, if JDM is doing, probably JDM at some point later in the year.
Yeah, that's my inclination as well.
We're getting fucking Poetan again.
Which is a possibility. I mean, whenever there's nobody to book, call Poetan. That's the way it works.
Which, hey, man, I'll get it. I'll be there. But I'm not going to get the best version of the fight.
You guys got to start planning this shit out, man. I mean, this is... Dude, we are like year 2 in a row of like their biggest event.
This is one of the instances where I'm like, one more weight class doesn't sound that bad right now.
No, and that's, dude...
165 right now does not sound... Imagine if Justin Gaethje was your 165 champion right now.
You could fuck the Justin Gaethje Islam matchup. You can do Justin Gaethje, who's, we know the story there. Who would he fight then? Let's grab a guy from 170. Justin Gaethje versus... Dude, this would be insane. Justin Gaethje versus Shakar Rakhmonov. Justin Gaethje versus Sean Brady. Book a 165 title in there. Like there's so many things you could do. You could do a BMF fight, but you'd have to.
Could you imagine if they had to go that route? They're like, "Fuck, guys, we don't got choice. New title on the line. 165 division gets built today."
Here's the reality. I think it comes, like you said, it comes down to JDM versus Bilal. But even then, I think like if let's say Bilal wins, Islam's still champion. Islam's not going to be fighting on a month and a half notice. That's not who he is. I'm sorry, he's just not. Like that's just not who the guy is. So it's like, okay, who are you gonna? Who
be an interim belt? Dude.
Who can you call on like 5-6 weeks notice? That's the time frame to turn around and fight. Like. only a few guys. Like, it is a very bad spot for the UFC to be in. Some people are talking about interim title,
and I'm sure they got guys ready. I'm sure they got guys. I'm sure they got guys who are like, hey,
I think you're giving them way too much credit.
No, you're not wrong, but I'm sure they've reached out, and I'm sure they got like, they had to have a contingency plan.
Oh well, yeah.
There's no way there isn't.
I'm sure they've reached out to people. I would hope
there has to be a contingency plan. Like, hey man, not gonna lie to you, you're not original choice, but can you be ready by this date if need be?
Yeah.
And this is the other party, and this is what we'll give you.
Yes, I think that's possible. That's possible. I think,
and I'm saying like that's like their last choice. Like that isn't like A, B, or C. That's option D and E, Josh. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a bad spot. Some people were talking about Hamzat versus Caio Borralho for an interim belt, which like because DDP just got hurt. The rumor is a fractured something in his leg, which is just real bad. Shin. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So that's. But even then, it's like, wouldn't it make more sense to do Imavov versus Hamzat Chimaev? Why is Caio Borralho getting the shot? If we already know, Hamzat put up just to stamp any fire that fight could have been interesting. He put up a video of him choking out Caio Borralho on Twitter from when they trained back in 2022 or whatever.
Hey man, you never know what can happen though.
Of course, it's just training, but like, man, that doesn't seem interesting to me at all personally. I think Imavov doesn't even seem interesting to me either. But like, at least he's earned it. He's the number one contender right now, technically.
And they're not gonna reach out to like Izzy,
Yeah, because Izzy.
And Dustin's not going to fight ahead of schedule. He wants to do his last fight.
He wants to do New Orleans, man.
Yeah,
New Orleans, which I get, and rumors Max against Dustin.
Dude, there might be a fuck scenario though where they might have to ask him, be like, "Hey, man, is there any way you can make this happen for us? We'll give you more money. We'll give you, we'll do."
I still think he'd probably say no, genuinely, because if they're going through the process,
I'm sure ideally he would. But granted, that doesn't mean they wouldn't like, dude. They might have even like considered that as an option.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Like, what it's like break glass and they have two options.
I have a question for you. Would you be okay? They make Tom Aspinall or Tom versus John possible. Let's say that's the main event. Kalme and Chimaev versus Borralho. Are you okay with that?
That's perfect. I wouldn't hate that.
And then whatever bullshit you're gonna get underneath.
But the reality is, you just need a good main event. You need an actual. This is fucking International Fight Week. If you can't get up and you can't book a big card for International Fight Week, what can you book a big card for? I mean, granted, we had 314 in Miami. It was a really big event, but like outside of 314 in Miami, what's the last really good pay-per-view you have to go back to? Probably 309, which was John Stipe. And even then, that was like, you know what I mean?
That was John Stipe.
That was John Stipe. The rest of the card kind of ruled outside of like the Bo Nickel fight, but you know what I mean? Like, they're in this weird spot where they just can't book a card top to bottom very well anymore outside of like their exceptions. And International Fight Week is supposed to be the exception. That is like the one card of the year. Supposed to be, all right, Hall of Fame, maybe another fight card. They generally do 2 a week. Like, be huge. Guess not though. I don't know, man. It's not going to be John. It's not like you can run through all the champions, man. I mean, it is slim pick. It's flyweight. Pantoja seems to be the guy. But not main event.
But they don't want to do him though.
Yeah, Merab already booked. Volkanovski just fought. Could he turn around? Maybe. Not likely. I mean, he took a lot of damage. Islam not going to be fighting on fucking a month's notice, and he's waiting for Bilal. Okay, Bilal, he's booked. Okay, Dricus, he's hurt. Magomedov Ankalaev, maybe you could book him versus Alex, but I'm not sure if he'll want to do that.
And they're not going to let any of these women main event.
John not fighting. Shevchenko already booked. Zhang Weili not fighting. Juliana already booked. You are a really bad.
They're going to have to do a unique fight. That's what I'm telling you. It's going to have to be some version of like. I said it as a joke, but I said, I was like, dude, what if it's Max versus Ilya for the 155 vacant title? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it sounds ridiculous, but it's like, dude, I mean, what do you do?
Or ideally, maybe Oliveira Saryukin, or Saryukin Taporia, or just some version of something with one of these top 155 guys.
You have to get the division moving. And Islam Makhachev has been a great champion, but the fact that we are in this position is solely because of him. And I'm sorry to say it, but like, shit or get off the pot. Like you fought last time early January, which I understand it's only been 3 months. It's going to be 4 months though by the time Bilal fights, and then you're getting to 3-month training camp on top of that, and you're refusing to fight the guy who would fight for the title in Ilya Taporia. So I'm at the point where it's like either you got to strip Islam or you got to talk him into vacating. You got to figure something out, and I
think they're going to talk him into vacating.
That's my thing too. I think that's most likely. But yeah, man, it's a bad position. It's a really bad position for the UFC, and I don't even entirely blame them. I blame them a lot.
That's probably going to be the final result. They're going to wait for JDM and see what happens with Bilal, and then after that, they're going to somehow decide what they're going to do with him, and then I'm assuming probably vacate.
Yeah. If Bilal wins, that's a nightmare scenario for the UFC, though. Because him and Islam won't fight.
I'm sure they'll still try to convince him to vacate.
I bet.
And be like, hey, if you're going to want to wait, vacate that fucking title.
Vacate? Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't believe people are okay with him just, like, ducking ELYXR. That's what it is. He's refusing to fight him. What else could that be? You know, I don't think he's necessarily scared of him, but he's still refusing to fight him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's bad stuff right now for the UFC. So, if you had gun to your head right now, I want you to try and come up with a fight for International Fight Week, though. If you had to pick one option,
Oliveira, Ilya for an interim.
That's it, for an interim, not for a
interim or the title, either whatever it may be, like whatever
Gotcha.
they can do. I mean, ideally,
Yeah.
if you can't do that, Max versus Oliveira, like you're no matter what, like I kid you not, it's gonna have to be some Looney Tune shit fight. Like it's not gonna be like what you expect.
It's gonna be Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. What if I told you? If I tell you right now, Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane, International Fight Week. How do you feel about that?
I don't care.
Co-main event: Alexander Pantoja, Kai Kara-France. Do you care?
I mean, they're okay fights, but I'm not gonna be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I would even really care for. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and you guys can shit for me. I really don't care for KKF Pantoja as a title fight.
I don't either.
They should have ran Royval Moreno for the trilogy, and then that should have been title limit. Or they should have done Manel K Pantoja. They should have.
Or they should have done Horiguchi and Pantoja.
They should have done that. They had other choices. Like no disrespect to KKF, I'm happy he's getting the opportunity, but like that, I could give two fucks about that.
Hasn't
matchup.
KKF still lost like 3 of his last 4? It's just like
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
and like the win before that, I think is like Cody Garbrandt. No disrespect. Like
Yeah.
I like KKF, but I don't give a fuck about that fight.
well, and also they're giving it to him because like okay,
They-
all the other guys have
they don't-
lost. All the other guys have lost to Pantoja, but technically KKF lost the Ultimate Fighter, so that's actually an exhibition. So technically he hasn't lost to him yet. That's the only way that fight works because he choked him out with it around on the Ultimate Fighter like 5 years ago now, 6 years ago.
I think it was longer than that.
It was definitely. I think it was 2018. So I guess it would have been 7 years ago. But you get the point here. Like that's the only reason they're booking the fight.
It's gonna be like I'm telling you, it's gonna be some weird version of something with Oliveira, Taporia, and potentially Max in there. Or it's gonna be Poatan versus Ankalaev. Like it's gonna be the latter.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this one. How do you feel about Conor McGregor
Oh my god, I got a crazy one for you.
versus Michael Chandler?
Fuck off.
I'm just saying.
It can't happen.
He went last night. Last night
I
he
saw
went to
it.
Twitter. He said unfinished business, Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler retweeted it with a picture of an Allegiant jet symbolizing Allegiant Stadium.
I got
No
you with
way,
a-
right?
I got you with a random one. This one would never happen. It doesn't make sense. Aspinall versus Poatan.
Oh,
So
fuck.
Aspinall defends his interim belt.
You know what? I'd watch it because it's a Looney Tunes matchup. But like I said, we're at a point now where it's like you don't have many stars.
But,
you
but
really don't
then,
have
but
many
then you're
fights.
like, well, Poatan is coming off a loss. Like, people would say shit. That's the issue.
But it's man, it's better than giving him Cyril Gane, and that's the only other guy.
Isn't that sad?
Like,
Isn't
here's the
that-
reality:
it's-
John Jones will not fight Tom Aspinall. I don't care what anybody says; it's not going to happen. I never deluded myself.
But I tell you what, if they
into
told him
thinking
he's fighting Poatan, he'd take that fight.
oh, he would absolutely take that fight. Point being, like Tom Aspinall, who do you book him against? Here's the list. If you're going to go to Tom Aspinall, you're just like, fuck the Jones fight. We wanted it for International
Look,
Fight Week.
Hey, I'm a
It's
homer.
not
If
happening.
they announced Volkov versus Aspinall, I'd be happy.
Oh, so would I, because he deserves it. But point being, they're not going to do it. Okay, Cyril Gane, robbery win over Volkov, and then you have Volkov, and then you have Pavlovich, and then you have Blades. So the top 5 is people he's already beaten.
And then Blades is
A guy coming off a loss, and then the guy coming off the win over the guy coming off a loss, but it's a robbery. So you can't really give either one of the guys a title shot. And then John's not going to fucking fight him, so what do you do? Tom Aspinall is literally the perfect guy. And Dana said, like, in January, he's like, so he was interviewed Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A's like, well,
Dude,
Sean
I'm
Jones coming back.
telling
you
you,
know?
this is the one I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Gaethje versus Ilya for an interim belt. It's a banger fight. It's a banger fight. But but you're telling me I could have had Ilya Oliveira?
I almost, dude,
You're telling me I could have had
wish you
Ilya
wouldn't have
Saryukin?
I wish
Or
you wouldn't-
Saryukin versus Oliveira? For
I
the
wish
fight?
you wouldn't have spoken that into existence because now I feel like that's the fight that's going to happen.
Dude,
Honestly, I feel like that's the one. 'cause
no
I,
bullshit. The fight what should probably, if Islam's not going to fight, what 100% should be the 155 belt fight. I think through like fairness, we're talking about Saryukin versus Oliveira should be your 155 main event fight
I agree with you.
for the belt.
And they had a razor close fight last year, UFC 300.
You would
3 rounds too. So
You get 5 rounds of that. The first one was a banger. The second one would be a banger. After that, Ilya gets to fight for the belt. He'd be waiting in
Yeah.
the wings. There'd be no issue. Oh man.
yeah, they gotta whatever they do, they gotta figure it out soon though. I'll put it like that, man. Connor's not coming to save you. John's not coming to save you. Ronda Rousey's not walking through the door, bro. You guys gotta figure out something big for International Fight Week.
What the fuck are they gonna do?
You know,
They bring Francis back. The UFC has actually just now bought out Francis Ngannou out of his PFL contract. He will be taking on John Jones at the main event.
Oh, John Jones. What do you mean? They're going to have to book him against Tom Aspinall. That's the only... let's be honest here, Angel. That's what would happen. John Jones isn't going to fight either one of those. I don't know why we're going on year 5 of pretending that John Jones wants to fight these people. Why are we... even after the Dominic Reyes fight, people were like, oh, man, I can't wait to see John Jones rematch Dominic Reyes. And after he's like, oh, I want to fight Thiago Santos or Johnny Walker or Jan Blachowicz. It's like... And now here we are again. It's like he didn't fight Ngannou. He fights Cyril Gane, and then he fought an ancient Stephen Miocic.
Dude, the only way they're gonna have to bend the knee to John. That's what it's gonna be, right?
And they should, dude. Like John, for all my stuff I'm saying right now, he is justified in the fact that like he wants, if he's gonna get fucked up, he's gonna do it for 30 mil. Straight up. He deserves that money. He's given the UFC a lot. And even though he's messed up a lot, he's earned them more money.
Dude, those guys are having hostage negotiations right now in the fucking war room, trying to convince people to fight in 2 months.
Like I said, for as much, it's a combination of like not their fault, but also like the kind of books.
Do you think there's any way they convince Patty to fight in a 2-month turnaround to cut weight and fight for 155?
No, because you'd have to pay him money, and like the UFC has shown that like until their model is like,
dude, what the fuck fight, dude? I can't wait till we're fighting. Like, oh my god, Josh, we were so wrong.
It's gonna be announced the second we get off this show. It is going to be announced like a minute after the podcast.
I might have to make like a last minute clip.
I won't even blame
get like
you,
a reaction.
I don't even blame you, dude. But that's it. Oh wait a minute, we got one last thing to talk about. That's the end of that discussion. The last thing we'll talk about. We'll end this on a high note because we got obviously Ben Eubank. We got UFC Kansas City, and then we got KSW 105 going down this Saturday night from Poland. Dude, KSW, for all the stuff we say about MMA being in a bad spot, does not apply to KSW. A largely Polish promotion. They have a few familiar names if you're a UFC, if you're a North American fan. Augusto Sakai is going to be fighting on here. But the real big name is Eddie Hall, man. Eddie Hall. He's had a boxing match. He lost to the world's strongest man. He's the world's strongest man. He lost to the Mountain, also one of the world's most strongest men. He had a 2-on-1 MMA fight last year where he knocked out 2 guys who weighed about 135 pounds. Taking on Mariusz Pudzianowski, the former KSW heavyweight champion. Angel, give me your thoughts on this freak show fight. The freak show fight of the century, in my opinion.
I'm genuinely excited, dude, because it's legitimately like one of the more interesting like freak show like matches that we've had in MMA in a while. Like, what was the last freak show relevant fight that you can even think about?
Nothing like this. Nothing like this. I mean, Eddie Hall he can become the great freak show fighter of our generation.
Isn't that crazy?
He could be a modern Butterbean. You know what I mean? There's no reason why he couldn't. Granted,
he's actually in insane shape.
He's in insane shape. So kind of not really Butterbean-esque, but you get my point. Butterbean was the freak show guy for like 10 years, 15 years. There's no reason why Eddie Hall
is
can't
Tommy Aspinall going to be in the corner for this one? Because they're kind of boys, they've trained together.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that.
By the way, at KSW, you will be receiving money from me and your support for having excellent quality fights.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a great fight.
I paid what, $15 last time? $13 to be entertained?
They are very affordable. In an MMA world, in a boxing world where everybody's trying to take your money from you,
Yeah, dude, no, they know what they have, and I like a company that's fair.
I said Pudzianowski was the former heavyweight champion. My bad. Former super heavyweight contender, Mariusz Pudzianowski. You get the idea.
Dude, that is super heavyweight contender. Like the fact that that's even a phrase you just
said. But point being, he's had some up and down fights, man. He's coming off 2 knockout losses in a row. Before that, he actually won 5 in a row. He is like the legendary freak show guy for the Polish audience, essentially. Eddie Hall is kind of bringing in other guys.
He's pretty old too, right? Like
48.
Yeah.
He's 48 now.
Dude, this guy's 2 years away from 50. That's wild about a fight in the cage against.
Dude, and also he is not what you expect. These motherfuckers are what, 6'9", 6'1", 313 pounds. This guy is unreal. And
he's a Goliath.
He is a Goliath, but also he has like a master's degree. I read this somewhere. He's like a degree in like international business or some shit. He's not the guy you would expect. He's had a crazy life.
Polish people are really interesting, man. Like, I need to say this right now, and they're very nice. At least all the ones I've come across.
Master's degree in international relations. Fucking Mariusz Pudzianowski. What a guy. So, point being, Angel, you're more of the KSW fan of us too. Any other fights the fans should be watching?
I think the main event, man.
Yeah. Adrian Bartonowski taking on Andre Grzebek.
Yeah, going for his third title defense. I mean, that's gonna be a fun fight. I mean, they could look. I don't think you even need to know these guys to just enjoy the fights, man. That's the one thing I like about KSW. I've like randomly tuned in or seen highlights on Twitter, and dude, it looks like they're just fucking bangers. You see there on the undercard Sakai, former UFC fighter.
Yeah. They got Arthur Spiltzka, former Deontay Wilder opponent, who has made the transition to MMA. Yeah. And he knocked out somebody from, I think, like his back or some shit. One of these fights, man. Was it his debut fight? Maybe I can't remember.
It's pretty sick.
Point man, he's had some crazy fights thus far, man. Like watch
KSW, you'll be entertained.
Yeah, watch KSW, man. A lot of fun to go ahead and watch for on Saturday night. Nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the pod. I'm at Josh Soundoff on Twitter. He's at Angel Ortega _01 at Courtside Sound for all things leading the show. Hope you guys enjoyed and enjoy the fights this weekend. Peace.